Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. 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 When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. 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 Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Prayer is power. When you pray, then you are in touch with your higher consciousness. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Pray. Pray. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. Prayer is power. What are you going to do? Pray. Pray. Pray.
Welcome, everyone, to Dr. Pillai's Religion of Religions YouTube channel. We're about to do a live, in-depth planetary puja using the chart of now for the day Monday, October 17th, 2022, based on my current location, which right now is in the state of New Mexico in the United States. My name is Swamini Valli. I am a Pillai Center teacher and an AstroVed astrologer. I'm very happy to be hosting these calls Monday through Friday during the week. Dr. Pillai has talked about how the planets and stars are more than just objects in outer space. They are also a divine light being associated with all of them. And in doing the puja, we are inviting the blessings of all of these light beings into our lives and into our world. We're using the South Indian style layout of the chart. There is a link below the video to a tutorial about the South Indian style chart if you are new to that. Each of the little 12 boxes in the chart each of them represents a unique zodiac sign. And in doing the puja, I have a side table that has a blackboard on it in which I've drawn the chart of now in chalk on the blackboard. And I'll be using that chart for placing flower petals as we do the puja in appropriate places on the chart. I also have a little container of water. I have a lit tea light. I have a bell. I have a hand fan. And I have a bowl with many, many fresh flower petals in it. And we'll be using those during the puja as we go along. You're welcome to do the puja along with me, or you're welcome to just listen to it. You could even listen to it while you're doing something more mundane in the background, like folding the laundry, doing the dishes, etc. There's no wrong way to participate in this puja. Dr. Pillai has said the names of all of the planets and stars is in and of itself a quantum sound or a mantra. And even listening to these sounds helps to shift our attention into a nicer state of awareness. So I'm going to start with the container of water, and I'm going to dip my ring finger into the water and sprinkle a few drops of water on each side of the blackboard chart, creating a purified space for the puja. I sprinkle a few drops of water on myself, and I also send a few drops of water out into space towards all of you, whether you're watching this live or later on a replay, so that we're all participating in this from a sense of being in a sacred space and being purified for the puja. For the puja, we're going to start with first invoking Ganesha, the archetype who removes obstacles, and he's also a patron of astrology. Om Shring Gam, Om Shring Gam, Om Shring Gam. We ask Ganesha to come and to remove all obstacles from this puja, and to remove all obstacles from the day or the evening. And we thank him for his help with this. Now we invoke a short Tamil chant asking all of the planets to be beneficial towards us. Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atyar Avarkumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atyar Avarkumikave, Asura Nalla Nalla, Ave Nalla Nalla, Atyar Avarkumikave. We ask all of the planets to be beneficial today towards us and towards the world. We thank St. Yanda Samundar for teaching this chant, and we are grateful to Dr. Pillai for sharing it with us. Now we're going to honor some of the various time elements that are active right now. We're going to honor the planet that rules the day, the star that the moon is in, the Tithi or the moon phase, the Hora, the planet that rules the hour in this local area, as well as the time elements of the Yoga and the Karana. We start with the planet that rules the day. Today is Monday, ruled by the moon. As I say Namaha, I am putting the flower petals on top of the moon on the blackboard chart. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Now we honor the star that the moon is in. The moon is in a star called Purnavasu, which helps with material prosperity and also with freedom. I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Purnavasaye Namaha. Om Purnavasaye Namaha. Om Purnavasaye Namaha. Next, we honor the Tithi or the moon phase. Right now, we are in the 8th waning moon here in my area, which is called Ashtami in Sanskrit. Dr. Pillai said for the moon phase, we would use the Sanskrit name of the moon phase, followed by the word Devi, invoking the light being associated with that moon phase. I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Astami Devye Namaha. Om Astami Devye Namaha. Om Astami Devye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that's ruling the hour. In my area, that is Saturn. I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Now we honor the time elements of the Yoga and the Karana. Dr. Pillai said for these time elements, we would not use flower petals. We would just say their names 3 times each. The yoga that's active right now is one called Siddha, which has energies that are accomplished. Siddha, Siddha, Siddha. And the Karana that's active right now is one called Balava, which has energies that are spiritual. Balava, Balava, Balava. Now we turn our attention to the chart of the moment. And Dr. Pillai said we would always start with whatever sign is the ascendant sign, or the sign coming up on the eastern horizon. Here, this is represented by the letters AC for ascendant, and it's in the sign of Libra or Tula. He said we would start with whatever planet rules the ascendant sign, and Libra is ruled by Venus. So we start with first honoring Venus for being the ascendant ruler. I put the flower petals on Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Then, starting with the ascendant sign, we're going to go around the chart in a clockwise direction, looking at each sign that has planets in it and honoring the planets, the archetypes that rules the planets, the planets, the stars they're in, the archetypes that rule the stars, the planets that rule the stars, and the archetype that rules the sign. We're starting here today in Libra, and today the Libra contains the Sun and Ketu. The Sun just moved into Libra today, and the Sun is actually not totally comfortable to be in Libra. And this is because Libra is a sign of balance, fairness. It's represented by a pair of balance scales, like the balance scales of the marketplace, where you're measuring out, the merchant is measuring out, like if you're ordering a kilo of oranges, that you got your full kilo or pound of oranges. But the Sun does not really measure out anything. He gives his light and his warmth away for free to everyone. So to be in a sign that's about measuring things out fairly is a little bit uncomfortable for him. We start with honoring the Sun, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. The Sun right now is in a star called Chitra, a star that's said to be brilliant, like a shining jewel. We honor Chitra, and I put the flower petals on the Sun. Om Chitraye Namaha. Om Chitraye Namaha. Om Chitraye Namaha. Chitra star is ruled by Tvashtar, an archetype who is a master craftsman. I put the flower petals on the Sun. Om Tvashtarye Namaha. Om Tvashtarye Namaha. Om Tvashtarye Namaha. Chitra star is ruled by Mars. I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Tula or Libra, a sign that has energies for balance, fairness, harmony. Today containing the Sun, which is our soul, and also a planet so important for our health, and Ketu, sometimes called the saintly planet. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. Going in a clockwise direction, the next Rasi or sign that has a planet in it is Makara or Capricorn, which today contains Pluto, who is retrograde, and Saturn, who is retrograde. When planets are retrograde, they are extra powerful. We honor Pluto, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Om Krum Kruntankaya Namaha. Pluto is in a star called Uttara Ashada, a star that can give blessings for long-lasting success. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Pluto. Om Uttara Shadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Shadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Shadaye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the 10 Visvadevas, archetypes who each embody a unique, divine, universal principle. We honor all 10 of them, and I put the flower petals on Pluto. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Om Visvadevasye Namaha. Uttarashada star is ruled by the Sun, I put the flower petals on the sun. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Om Suryaya Namaha. Now we honor Saturn for being in Capricorn. I put the flower petals on him. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Saturn is in a star called Dhanishta, a star that can help give blessings for material prosperity, music, good reputation. We honor Dhanishta, and I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Om Dhanishtaye Namaha. Dhanishta star is ruled by the 8 Vasus, 8 light beings who each rule different spheres of existence. We ask for blessings from all 8 of them. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Om Vasusye Namaha. Dhanishta star is ruled by Mars. I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Capricorn, which is Saturn. I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Now we pause for a moment and reflect on Makara or Capricorn, a sign that can activate ancient past life skills and abilities, today containing Pluto, a planet that helps with rationality and science, and Saturn, a planet that helps with patience, perseverance, structure, and compassion. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Kumbha or Aquarius, which today contains Neptune, who is also retrograde. We honor Neptune, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Om Vam Varunaye Namaha. Pluto is in a star called Purva Bhadrapada. This is a star that gives blessings for purification. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Neptune. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Purva Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada star is ruled by Aja Ekapada, an archetype who can help us to experience deeper levels of silence and stillness, as well as forgiveness. We honor him, and I put the flower petals on Neptune. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Om Aja Ekapadaye Namaha. Purva Bhadrapada star is ruled by Jupiter. I put the flower petals on Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. We pause. Now we honor the planet that rules Aquarius, which is Saturn. I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Sanisharaya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Kumbha or Aquarius, the most humanitarian and service-oriented of all the zodiac signs, today containing Neptune, a planet that helps with our intuition and helps us to understand our own inner life. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign that has a planet in it is Meena or Pisces, which today contains Jupiter, who is also retrograde. We honor Jupiter, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Jupiter is in a star called Uttara Bhadrapada. Dr. Pillai says this is a star that can help us with business development. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on Jupiter. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Om Uttara Bhadrapadaye Namaha. Uttara Bhadrapada star is ruled by Ayarbundia, an archetype who helps, among other things, to guard treasures and valuables. We ask him to guard our treasures and valuables, as well as to guard our treasure that is the very earth itself. We honor him. Om Ayarbundiaye Namaha. Om Ayarbundiaye Namaha. Om Ayarbundiaye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Uttara Bhadrapada star, which is Saturn. I put the flower petals on Saturn. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Om Sanishwaraya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Pisces, which is Jupiter. I put the flower petals on Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Meena or Pisces, the most transcendental and metaphysical of all the zodiac signs, today containing Jupiter, a planet that helps with everything related to spiritual teachings. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with a planet in it is Misha or Aries, which today contains Rahu and Uranus, who is retrograde. Both of these planets are in the same star, so I'm going to invoke both of the planets before I honor the star. We start with Rahu. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Om Rahave Namaha. Next, we honor Uranus. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Om Ram Prajapataye Namaha. Rahu and Uranus are both in the star of Bharani, a star symbolized as the yoni, the female private parts, and also a star with a tremendous amount of divine feminine Shakti, or energy, or power. I place the flower petals across both Rahu and Uranus. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Om Bharaniye Namaha. Bharani star is ruled by Yama, an archetype who, among other things, is an archetype of justice. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Om Yamaye Namaha. Barney star is ruled by Venus. I put the flower petals on Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Aries, which is Mars. I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Misha, or Aries, a fire sign with very active energies. Today containing Rahu, a planet that helps us to think outside the box. And Uranus, a planet that helps with high intelligence, success in life, and astrology. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Mithuna, or Gemini, which today contains Mars and also contains the moon. We start with honoring Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Mars is in a star called Mrigashira, a star that gives us energy for curiosity, helps us to be willing to explore new things, have fresh adventures, try new foods, maybe start a new job or move to a new location. We honor Mrigashira, and I put those flower petals on Mars. Om Mrigashiraye Namaha. Om Mrigashiraye Namaha. Om Mrigashiraye Namaha. Mrigashira's star is ruled by Soma, a liquefied form of the moon, in which he is a divine nectar, also called Soma, or the Amrita, the nectar of immortality. We honor Soma, and I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Somaye Namaha. Om Somaye Namaha. Om Somaye Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Mrigashira's star, which is Mars. I put the flower petals on Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Next, we honor the moon for being in Gemini. I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. The moon today is in a star called Purnavasu, a star that can give blessings for material prosperity and also for freedom. We honor this star, and I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Purnuvasaye Namaha. Om Purnuvasaye Namaha. Om Purnuvasaye Namaha. Purnavasu's star is ruled by a goddess called Aditi. She is the mother of many of the archetypes, including our own sun. We honor her, and I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Aditye Namaha. Om Aditye Namaha. Om Aditye Namaha. Purnavasu's star is ruled by Jupiter. I put the flower petals on Jupiter. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Om Gurave Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Gemini, which is Mercury. I put the flower petals on Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Matuna or Gemini, a zodiac sign that has a great range of energies, today containing Mars, planet that likes to do practical things to solve problems, and the moon, which is our mind and our emotions. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. The next Rasi or sign with the planet in it is Kanya or Virgo, which today contains Mercury and Venus. We start with honoring Mercury, and I put the flower petals on him. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. The moon is in a star called Hasta, a star symbolized as an open hand in blessing. Om Hastaye Namaha. Om Hastaye Namaha. Om Hastaye Namaha. Hasta star is ruled by Savitur, a form of the sun, in which he is very interested to help with the evolution of consciousness on our earth. He is able to help stretch our minds so that we can absorb higher truths. We honor Savitur, and I put the flower petals on Mercury. Om Saviturye Namaha. Om Saviturye Namaha. Om Saviturye Namaha. Hasta star is ruled by the moon. I put the flower petals on the moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Om Chandraya Namaha. Now we honor Venus for being in Virgo. I put the flower petals on Venus. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Shukraya Namaha. Venus is in Chitra star, this brilliant, brilliant star shining like a jewel. Om Chitraye Namaha. Om Chitraye Namaha. Om Chitraye Namaha. Chitra star is ruled by Tvashtar, a master craftsman. Om Tvashtarye Namaha. Om Tvashtarye Namaha. Om Tvashtarye Namaha. Chitra star is ruled by Venus. No, excuse me. Chitra star, who's this the star that Venus is in, that star is ruled by Mars. We honor Mars. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Om Mangalaya Namaha. Now we honor the planet that rules Virgo, which is Mercury. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. Om Buddhaya Namaha. We pause for a moment and reflect on Kanya or Virgo, the most detail-oriented and analytical of all the zodiac signs, today containing Mercury, planet of communication, and also planet that helps us to have a quick mind, and Venus, planet of happiness, diplomacy, and material plane comforts. We pause for a moment and reflect on this. Now, I take a lit tea light And I hold it above the blackboard chart in the air, and I'm going to circle it around the chart 3 times in a clockwise direction, offering the element of light to all of these divine beings that we have just invoked. Now, I take the hand fan to offer the element of air, and I wave it around the chart 3 times in a clockwise direction, offering the element of air and a cooling breeze. And now I'm going to ring a bell, offering the element of sound. Now I make prayer hands and make a sincere prayer to all of these divine beings that we have just invoked, asking for their blessings for all of us, for our families, our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues, our homes, our workplaces, our schools, our communities, our countries, and indeed the entire world. May everyone on this planet have healthy food to eat, clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, a safe place to live, good clothes to wear, access to healthcare, good education, sustainable jobs, and may everyone on this planet have love in their life, now and always. I pray for enlightened leaders, enlightened citizens, enlightened laws, enlightened countries, and entire enlightened civilizations. I ask for blessings for all of my teachers, past, present, and to come. And I ask for blessings for all of my students, past, present, and to come. And I make a bow. You can continue to make your own prayers for about a minute in silence, and then we can do some short Q&A. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace to the body, peace to the mind, peace to the soul, peace to the environment. Peace, peace, peace. May we all go about our day or our evening in peace. Thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate your participation and your support. I see that Barbara has asked earlier in the chat, please explain a bit about the Sun-Ketu conjunction. So yes, today the Sun had moved into Libra, which is where Ketu was sitting. So now those 2 planets are sharing the sign of Libra. The Sun is our soul, and Ketu is a planet that is sometimes called the saintly planet. He does help us with detachment and with longing for liberation. So for some people, this may cause them to have a bit more interest perhaps in meditation or exploring reading a spiritual book, or putting into practice some of the spiritual teachings, it may reinvigorate their spiritual life in some way, having those two planets in the same sign. So this is an interesting conjunction. And the sun is considered to be debilitated or weak while he's in Libra. As I explained at the beginning, he feels constrained to be in the sign that's about harmony and balance and careful measurement, because he doesn't measure how much energy and light he's giving out. He gives it away freely to everyone. He has what Dr. Pillai calls an ego-free consciousness. He just gives and gives and gives. He is the example of, universal friendship, because he's loving everyone to give this away to them, the light, the warmth. Whether you're a king or a beggar, a sinner or a saint, everyone gets the same amount of sunlight when they walk outside. So the sun, being this planet of ego-free consciousness, combined with Ketu, who is a planet that can prompt us to have longing for liberation, it can be a good time for our inner life and for us to look at our own ego and to look at what are things we can do to become more loving toward everyone. This doesn't mean that you let people walk all over you. You have discernment, but you can still be, loving people, accepting them for how they are, because the only person that we can ever change is ourselves. But we can be, aware of how people are, but still be, being loving towards them. So that's a few words about the Sun Ketu conjunction. What number is associated with Lord Surya in terms of doing mantras? Melissa, I don't necessarily understand that question. The sun is normally associated with the number 1. There are multiple names of the sun. There's, like, for example, 12 names of the sun that are used in yoga poses. And I know Surya is one of those names, but off the top of my head, I can't tell you what number he comes in that list of 12. I could give you that tomorrow, but I can't give you that off the top of my head right now, if that's what you're asking about. Ranak is asking in the chat, today, Mars and Moon are together in Gemini. Does it lead to aggression and anger as the mind is affected by Mars? Mars has got more than just aggressive and, warrior type of energies. Mars is also a planet that has a tremendous amount of healing energies. He has energies to put us into action, to solve problems. So with him being in Gemini with the moon, what it could do is it could perhaps cause the mind to be looking around and looking at what are the practical things I could do to fix a problem. Gemini is got such a range of energies in it that it could also just be perhaps, causing someone to look around and think, maybe I'd like to try some martial arts as exercise. It could be helping someone maybe to stick up for themselves if they're maybe being taken advantage of, to realize that they don't have to be open to receiving, bullying or something like that. So I wouldn't automatically think Mars, anger, aggression. There are many, many positive energies that we get from Mars. And I feel that Mars is a masculine planet. We all have both feminine and masculine within it. And masculine energy can be a beautiful thing. It can be something that has been very beneficial for our world. So I would look at, what are the positive sides of having the masculine energy sitting in the same sign with the moon, which is a feminine energy and is receptive. I would look at what are the strengths of Mars that could be applied to our mind or emotions right now. Would be my suggestion, Ranak. So I don't necessarily think that it's going to necessarily trigger anger and aggression in everyone. It may for some people, but it does not have to be that way across the board. Mars is in the star of Mrgashira, a star that can make us willing to try out new things. So Mars could give us the energy, the oomph, you know, to go and try a new restaurant, or to be willing to, you know, try a new job, or to move, that kind of thing, to do the practical things of taking some action to break up routines and break up our patterns a bit. So that could be a positive application of those energies. Okay. I see Melissa saying that Dr. Pillai has talked about Shiva being associated with the number 13. I don't have any knowledge from Dr. Pillai about the sun other than the number 1. When he, you know, he's gone over the 9 planets and numbers that are associated with each of them. So that's the only number I have heard him associate with the sun is 1. And I really can't speak more than that in terms of what I've heard from Dr. Pillai about the numbers. Okay, thank you all for being here. Not seeing any other questions. We'll be here again tomorrow. Tomorrow, later in the day, tomorrow, the Venus will go into Libra, which is a sign that he rules. And there's a rule that when a debilitated planet, which is what the sun is at the moment, is sitting in the same sign with either an exalted planet or the planet that rules that sign, it lessens the weakness of the debilitated planet. So the sun will gain more strength tomorrow when Venus goes into Libra. He won't be there in the morning when I do the puja, but he will later in the day go in there, and that's going to help the sun's energy quite a bit. Okay, thank you all for being here. I'm going to go ahead and close out our session for today. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. May light encompass all.